So, because you brought up the Caleb Williams, and then I was going to say the Josh McDaniels, Mike Vrabel situation, we've never really dived into that, where how much, and I know Scheim is not sold on Josh McDaniels, but how much of Mike Vrabel's decision was it to bring in Josh McDaniel?
Oh, I don't know that I've ever. I'm sure he had some sort of a say in it. Are you suggesting he didn't have final say?
I'm not saying he didn't have final say, but I feel like, the connection of Josh and Vrabel, because Vrabel, when he was other places, he had his own offensive guy. And then I thought there was a report, and this was so long ago, that maybe Robert Kraft was like, hey, what about Josh McDaniels?
Mr. Josh McDaniel.
I'm sure Vrabel had final say, though, on who his guy was going to be.
Okay.
I just think that
guy beat you. Sorry.
Just between the Elliott Wolf stuff that we already talked about, I'm sure that was something that Mike Vrabel said, yeah, we can talk about different guys that you want to bring in, but he got final say.
Coach's decision.
You think that, that was Vrabel's first choice of
that,
because Todd Downing, who's the wide receiver coach, was the offensive coordinator for Vrabel at a point in time in Tennessee. So, and I know Scheim isn't the biggest Josh McDaniels fan, and I wonder because of
Scheim is down on the entire organization other than Drake May. and
no, I'm not entirely down on Mike Vrabel. I think he made some mistakes, but I think Josh McDaniels is far more the culprit.
You are pointing fingers everywhere other than at the quarterback.
No, I just think Josh McDaniels stinks.
Because it's kind of like
similar to Metallica.
And the only reason why I'm not saying it's a complete similarity to Mayo and Alex Van Pelt situation, I just wonder if Josh was Vrabel's first choice, or if Kraft said, hey, here's a way for us to save some money. You might want to give Josh an interview.
Can I be Papelbon for Wiggy's lead?
Go ahead, close it up.
So, do you believe, anybody, that Mike Vrabel wants Elliott Wolf and Matt Groh to still be here?
No.
So, if he didn't get to choose the guys that are picking the players with him, wouldn't it stand to reason he may not have chosen the guy that was the offensive coordinator, given McDaniels' relationship with the Krafts?
Curtis, that's a great point.
That is a great point. I just would also say maybe that was the give and take. Like, he didn't have say there, so he had say underneath who was coaching under him.
That was a great pivot.
And I would say that would be why Downing is the wide receivers coach. And isn't it interesting, if we consider all the factors now, who was the source talking to Tom Curran about Diggs that led to all that stuff? It was the wide receiver coach Downing that was quoted. So, I don't know. I mean, that's obviously
becoming a bit of a pain in the posterior.
Who knows? But, yeah, if the organization has shown its desire to keep two totally incompetent people as the roster builders, then I would totally believe it if they did that with Josh and Vrabel.
Speaking of great pivots, and I'm sure we'll get to this later, the one yesterday by those associated with Bill Belichick was one of the all-time great fraudulent attempts at pivoting, where
it's like Kevin McHale in the Post.
Where that was a great pivot.
Where a source close to Bill said that he didn't mean physically welcome at Gillette Stadium. He meant mentally, emotionally welcome.
It was like a metaphor for the disrespect that he's been given.
All right.
Like, okay. I mean, could you be clearer when you're making things up, Bill? If you could be clearer about what you're making them up about, it would be great.
It goes back to maybe what you said yesterday, to maybe the bill of I'm not welcome. They're not welcome here because I'm not welcome there. Of maybe Kraft did throw a little bad juju on Bill's opportunity to coach in Atlanta, and so anywhere.
Yeah.
And Bill is just basically went nuclear petty and said, you know what, you made the dynasty. I believe you probably put the kibosh on me getting other opportunities as a head coach.
That was so long ago
But
now.
it doesn't matter. Bill holds a grudge, man. When you get old, Courtney.
But he came back. Like, that's what I don't understand. He came for Brady night at
It was
Gillette.
for Brady.
I understand, but it still was a good look for Kraft.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. It's for Brady, though. It's like when you get that old people, when they hold grudges, they take them to their grave. They don't care if it's against their brother, their sister, their kids. They're taking them to their grave.
Gonna go on forever.
And that night, interesting information I came across that they had a table for Bill Belichick, just like Wiggy and everybody. They all had a setup so that when Randy Moss thanked Bill or other players thanked Bill, they could show him. He literally stayed behind the stage the entire night, spoke, and then exited. He never sat down. He never told anybody if he was coming or not, because he wanted to act like he wasn't invited, even though they invited him 30 times to go to Tom Brady night. Bill Belichick is...
Did he have his pants on?
No.
Okay.
Winnie the Pooh.
Nice job. Nice job.
It's just so fascinating to see how this is unraveling around him. But yeah, he's been invited back. I don't know what in the world that was all about. And next year, Wiggy will be invited along with Bill Belichick as the organization celebrates 25 years since the greatest upset in the history of the NFL. When they honor the Super Bowl 36 team from the 2001 season.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to that.
He is invited, he's been invited, and he is full of poop.
And he probably doesn't show up for that. The statue thing was probably, now as we start to peel back layers to this onion, the statue thing that Robert Kraft said was probably just lip service to make himself, like, all right, we had always planned them. But do you really think Bill is coming back here for a statue?
I don't think he's coming back here for anything. I really don't.
No, I don't even know about he'll get a red coat, but
I don't know.
I mean, maybe.
I don't know.
Well, the red coats are coming, but Belichick isn't.
I don't know that he will come back
Yeah.
for that.
Curtis, who clearly you have a very good source when it comes to the information you just brought up.
Yeah.
Did they say anything about the Brady statue unveiling and if he was invited for that?
He was welcome there. He was never told he was not invited. I don't know. I don't think they sent out invitations in the mail. I don't know. I don't know that specifically, but the person was laughing.
They gave him the wrong location.
Right. They did an Evite. They're being cheap, but I don't know if he opened the envelope online.
They told him it was City Hall Plaza.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, unfortunately, Jordan drove him there, and it was a whole thing.
They just sent us.
And it was too late once
Jordan couldn't rent a car, Greg.
Once they got to City Hall Plaza, nobody else was there.
Yeah.
And so it was too late to go to Foxboro. That's what created the whole
But
thing.
they did reach out to us like, hey, are you coming to Brady night statue unveiling?
Yeah.
So, if they reached out to me, I would think that they reached out to Bill.
They reached out to everybody.
Yeah.
And then I don't know how that specifically is done, but
I think it was like through an email, maybe a text message or something.
Bill has this desire to either be the hero or the victim.
All right. Well, mistake to bring him in.
Yes, it was.
When you drafted a quarterback who, at the top of the list of his talents in college, was running the football and his ability to do that. So, Curtis, we talked about it briefly yesterday on the show, and then the New York Post yesterday, front page of the website, had a big article which the headline read, "Panic sets in over Drake Maye."
Really?
I think there are a considerable amount of those who listen to the show and that I hear from who are now concerned, and it's 1 week in.
Told you.
Please. But are now concerned that he is not the guy.
And I think the quarterback's an absolute stud.
Rough weekend for Costos. Big Chiefs pick.
Josh Allen loves them. Are we going to hear from Josh Allen during they said it?
Yeah, definitely, Greg.
All right. Next hour.
The concern is pretty much simple. Like, he looked really bad on Sunday, and it may just be week one. Listen, great Patriots Super Bowl winning teams have had bad week ones. But given the opponent, given it's at home, you got the West Coast team coming east for the 1 o'clock start. You have the lead at halftime, and that interception to start the second half. And then, I don't know about you guys, did you feel at any point in that late third, fourth quarter that they were going to come back and win that game, even if it was only a 1 or 2 score game?
I thought that they could.
I did. It was such a boring football game that I kind of thought anything could happen.
Yes.
So
I did not. In the stadium, it was dead as a doornail. It was like you might as well have been watching BC against, Fordham.
But it didn't feel like the Raiders controlled the game. It felt like, okay, either team could win. It felt like that New England, if they could just do some things offensively, that they could pull this game out.
And near the end of the game, I thought that Drake Maye picked up speed when it was calling plays, getting guys going. Like, it seemed like he was more urgent than he was at the beginning of the game. So I thought that they could have come back. At least once we were in the fourth, I was like, it was anyone's game.
Like the moment I knew it was over was when Geno converted that 3rd and 20. Till that point, though, I very much believed that the Patriots were in that game.
Yep, that was the dagger. It just looked like I felt like throughout that game, once Brock Bowers got hurt, I felt like, okay, Vegas, their biggest playmakers out. This is a great opportunity for you to capitalize. But then the offense, there's no explosiveness to it anywhere. And that's where I was like, somebody do something special. And whether it's Drake Maye taking off and scrambling and running for 20 yards, I just felt like there wasn't anything offensively, but I still felt like they could win this football game.
Now, I will say I give him a bit of a pass because he's working with a new offensive coordinator and learning an entire new system.
Yeah.
And so
that's not easy.
That was an absolute train wreck of a disaster last season. And so you know better than me, but it takes a while.
Yeah.
And you can complain about Mike Vrabel not giving him enough reps during preseason, and I'll jump on board with that, but it's got to take a while for him to get that system down.
In that thought vein, though, Greg, like, why didn't he play more in the preseason?
I don't know.
Like, you are learning a new offense. That's a massive, massive misstep by the coaching staff to not have played him more in the preseason.
Well,
and
but
if
when
you were
he was,
only worried about him getting hurt, like, then what's the point?
But Curtis asked Mike Vrabel about that very thing on this very show yesterday, and he said, we've had 30 practices, and we've been out. I mean, in his mind, he's given everybody enough of an opportunity.
But Wiggy tells us all the time, game reps are so different than practice reps.
Yeah,
they're totally different things. And so the fact that he didn't even get at least like simulated games, preseason games aren't even real games, but at least simulated game reps. He got what, 14 total? Like, that's just not enough.
It'd be one thing if he was awesome. If he got 2 series a game in the 2 preseason games and they put up 10 points each game on those series, then you say, okay. But they did nothing. I mean,
he really didn't do much, even when he was
threw a
in
pick.
Yeah,
right.
When he was in there. And I think the biggest thing when learning a new offense, more so from the quarterback position, it does take time, but we see guys get it all the time. I think the biggest thing is the relationship between the offensive coordinator and the quarterback on how the system is going to be ran. What's the offensive philosophy because of your quarterback? What is his skill set? What does he do well? And Josh McDaniels, other than maybe, and that's stretching it, Jay Cutler, has he really ever had a mobile quarterback?
No.
Right?
Yeah.
So
he coached Tebow, didn't he?
Yeah, but was Tebow really like? Oh yeah, that's right. They did. Did he draft Tebow?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh yeah. Okay, so
I'll double check that.
All right.
Yeah, and Tebow's a disciple.
He was running the Lord's ball.
Yeah, but it just seems like I don't know.
Technically, Josh McDaniels only coached him for 12 games. But
Okay.
yes.
So, here's a 978 text on the Subaru of New England text line. Why are you guys not talking about the defense? We did yesterday a lot. Getting smoked on plays, playing too much zone. That being said, it's week 1. Yeah, we talked yesterday a lot about the lack of adjustment at halftime when it came to the D.
The defense wasn't great, but we used to sit here and praise Bill Belichick's defense for bending and not breaking. So if Geno, and I heard Jones and Keefe talking about this yesterday, so if Geno Smith, does he throw the ball all over the place? He did. But you only gave up 20 points.
They only gave up 1 touchdown in the second half.
Right, so I don't mind. Listen, I want them to fix that issue of the quarterback throwing for a bunch of yards. But remember the quarterbacks that came in here years ago? Was it Mike Flynn one time? Was it Flynn from
Matt Flynn?
Matt Flynn. You throw a bunch of yards, and we used to say, hey, once you get inside the 20s, it's a different game. You bend but don't break, and that's what the defenses used to do in the past about giving up points.
And I feel like there are so many numbers that have come out that are just disgraceful as it pertains to the Patriots last several years, but one of them stood out. The Patriots have now failed to reach 30 points in 46 consecutive games. The last time they scored 30 points was on October 16th, 2022 against the Browns. It's by far the longest streak in the NFL. You can't win.
It's an example of organizational hubris where you had Tom Brady, the greatest to ever do it, and you didn't give full credit to him. You somehow believed that your organization was the reason why you had so much success, and so therefore you could do it with, whoever it was, whoever you were going to have.
Well, I think that's part of the reason, too, that they've had such a difficult time finding another quarterback. They don't know how to properly, nurture a young quarterback. They just throw them in, and they're like, yeah, we're the Patriots. We'll figure it out. They'll just get better. And when you actually have to teach these guys and train these guys to go from the college game to the NFL game, because they are very different.
And last year, the Detroit Lions were top 7 in defense, allowing 20 points a game. So when you look at that game, and there are some issues on the defense, and we used to say this all the time, if you can hold a team to 21 points or less, you should be able to win that football game.
Yeah.
So I do put some on the defense, but it's really about your offense. And we kind of went into that, and we went into the season thinking that, all right, the defense should be good. We had them, whether top 10, top 5, they should be good, but what's the offense?
207 text from my adopted home continent of Maine. Greg, Baker Mayfield has had a different coordinator every year of his career, so no excuse there.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, but Baker was good for a year, terrible for 3 years, and then got good again. Because he understands how to play in the NFL now, being a 6 or 7 year veteran.
But here's where I think we all agree. If you want to say the new coordinator is a problem, that's a perfectly logical, excuse. However, if that is what your issue is, you cannot then only play him in 4 series in the entire preseason.
Correct.
I agree.
Yeah.
So it's you sit here and it's so enraging to be living the spin cycle of what the other division opponents did with the Patriots for 20 years, where you take a quarterback in the top 15, 3 years later, you're back in the top 5, and you're taking a quarterback, and then you're firing the coach, then you're firing the coordinator. This is literally the Jets and the Dolphins for 25 years. And that's where you are now. So the frustration with Maye is that if it's not him, you are back to the bottom of the mountain all over again, and you restart this clock.
Back to page 1